Next, we will look at the financial analysis report. In this case, we will choose to preview the report on screen and click the Print button. This pops up the financial analysis report on our screen. I'm going to zoom in so we can see this more clearly. As you can see, the financial analysis report looks a lot like the hard numbers report that we saw earlier. That's because it is essentially the same report. It shows you the entire job at a glance on the first page, your expenses and your profits, adding up to your selling price. On the second page, it shows you the hard numbers just for our 4x6 sign. On the third page, the hard numbers for our posts. On the fourth page, the hard numbers for the concrete. And on the final page, the hard numbers for the installation, showing the production and profit labor. And that's the financial analysis report. You can choose to print one or more pages of this report. We will now click the Close button to return to the job screen. Next, we will look at the invoice. To print the invoice, we click Print and select Invoice. This brings up a screen where we can select several options about the invoice. We can choose to put the job number on the invoice or leave it off the invoice. In this case, we will leave it on. We can select the terms to go on the invoice. And if the terms we want are not in the list, we can always click on the book icon to the right of the list to add the terms to the list. We can type a message for our customer. We can choose to print the financial analysis report after printing the invoice, or not to print it after printing the invoice. We can choose to add the due date information to the invoice, or not to add the due date information to the invoice. And finally, we can choose to preview it on the screen, which is what we are going to do. Now we're going to click the Print button, and that will pop our invoice up on the screen. Let's zoom in so we can see this more closely. As you can see, your logo will print on your invoice, along with the customer's name and address, your name and address, and all of telephone numbers relating to both parties. You will also see the overall description for the invoice, and then line by line, just like on the estimate, the quantity, description, price each, amount, and tax for each item on the estimate, or in this case, invoice, and the subtotal, sales tax, and total due. It also shows the customer the terms. And this is ready to print and send to your customer. Now we will click the Close button to return to the job screen. When we are finished doing anything on the job screen, we simply click Close to return to the program.